Love the idea of no funerals. Give everybody their flowers while they're still here to see it. How did we meet? Randallstown Optimists. My second year in the program, I played with a new group of guys. Angelo Todd, TJ Williamson, TJ Williams, Bernie, a lot of guys. And that's where I run into Daryl White. Now, I was a likable guy. I thought I want everybody to like me. I was one of those guys that I was an athlete. I just like, man, we're on the same team. Let's become friends or whatever. Daryl was quiet. He didn't say much to anybody. Fast forward, I go to school, new school, just transferred to Old Court Middle. First day of school, I see Daryl White in the cafeteria. So I know he's on my team. We had summer practice. So me and Derek and Deron, two twins, was talking about something. And I might have said, hey, Daryl, you seen that? My man, you saw it? No, I ain't see it. Safe to say, he ain't like nobody. Daryl was, if you didn't grow up with him for the last couple of years, he ain't like you. So I was a new guy. He really ain't like me. So I was saying to myself, man, I'm gonna make this guy like me, man. I don't care. Well, I don't know why he's so mad, but I want you to like me because he seemed like a cool dude. So we in class one day, and the teacher asking us, what high school you going to? He raised his hand. He said, Calvert Hall. Me, I've been going to Camp St. Joe for a while prior to meeting Daryl. So my whole mindset was going to Mount St. Joe because that's what I was familiar with. So when he said Calvert Hall, I was like, man, why you want to go to Calvert Hall? Why don't you come to St. Joe? And he was like, what? I was like, man, they got a good football team, man. I'm telling you, they good. He was like, for real? And ever since that day, we kind of hit it off. Now, there are a lot of stories in between those things about the bathroom cutting class. I'm not going to get on that. The disagreements we had. But fast forward, Daryl said, I'm going to go to St. Joe. So Daryl went to St. Joe with me, and we played football together. I would pick Daryl up every morning on my way to school. He'd be ready. I'd be late. We'd be late, still late to this day when it comes to going places. He'd be ready to go. I'll never forget the first day of football practice. That man was outside waiting or the doorstep. I don't know if he was doing push-ups or what, but he looked like one of the guys out of South Central. He had a fresh ball cut, Lokes on, hat on, skull cap on. He was ready to go. He got mad at me and my father. We got there late. He wanted to be early. But we played 4 years of football together at St. Joe. Man, we had some good times up there from the 9th grade to 10th grade, sitting in Low Africa, chopping it up, playing your mixtapes that Jabri Owens had for you. He made for you. Y'all gotta know one thing about Daryl. He did things his way. When Jabri gave his mixtapes, right, he would make a mixtape with all his songs the way he wanted to do it. But Daryl would give Jabri a list of songs that he wanted for his personal mixtape. Like, put these songs on this tape for me. So he would every morning he'd slide that to me. I'd give it to my father, pop into the deck. Cause my pop listened to talk radio on the whole ride. But Daryl was like, nah, we're gonna listen to this rap music on the way into school. But if I was doing anything or going anywhere, I checked with Daryl. I was always over his house. Twin Lakes Court became like a second home to me. I didn't make a move basically without Daryl. He became like a best friend, a brother. He was the best man in my wedding, him and Angelo. He's my son's godfather. Through the years, we still keep in touch. Not as much as we used to, but when you grow up with people like that, you don't have to keep in touch with as much as you used to, because every time we see each other, it's like we ain't miss a beat. I'm glad to have somebody like Daryl White in my life. He's meant a lot to me. I can just say quote rapper Jada Kiss, like he said, real brothers and our mothers really knew each other. I mean, that really touched home when I heard that, because that's the kind of guy him, Angelo, even though it's not about him, but that's the kind of guy he was to me. Through my teenage years, through my young adult years, we moved in together, we lived together, we was roommates right across from each other. We had our first apartment together. So he went off and got his own place. I went off, got my own place. And we still tight to this day. So Daryl, I want to say thank you for being you. You've grown so much. I admire you and the things you're doing, the steps you've taken. And I love you, man.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Leach. Met through Angelo Todd. Met pretty much everybody through Angelo Todd, but Angelo and D-Dub was like brothers. Kind of like twins, so to speak. But when we met, it was 1988. D-Dub was in the 7th grade, so that was, and Angelo was in the 6th. So everybody went a year ahead, and I wound up meeting Angelo. But I met Angelo first, and then I probably ain't meet Daryl until about 90. Like real close. Because, everybody was doing their thing, and you heard about D-Dub beating people up, putting his hands on people when they get out of line. So it was kind of rough back in our day. But we met and got real close by the time we got into high school. 9th grade. 9th grade, he went to Mount St. Joe. Me and Angelo, we went to Randallstown. But Angelo and Daryl played rec football for quite some time. But I was a basketball player, so I ain't played football much. But by the time we got in 9th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, we was all hanging at my house. We had a basketball goal in the backyard. Abe, I wanted to be Michael Jordan, and these guys were football players. And Daryl wound up graduating from Mount St. Joe and going to Montgomery. Remember his first touchdown when he made the interception and pointed in the end zone? They got him in the paper on that joint. Remember that thing? Yeah, that was a special moment. But man, it's so much to talk about, man. The Central State boys, they went to Ohio, went and did their thing at Central State. Really proud of them, proud of my brothers, man, for real. Angelo with the Norfolk. But I met D-Dub through Angelo, and we've been brothers ever since. In the grind. All rapping, swinging hands, and all that type of stuff and all that. Everybody know, they know. You know what it is. So, you know what I mean? Leash Man signing off. It is what it is. Peace and blessings to everybody.
How y'all doing? I'm Ahmad Cutler. We met when we was in middle school, actually. Pop on the football. Played for Randallstown Optimists. Me, him, Angelo Todd, and a couple of our other brothers. Very good friend. I've been knowing him since Sandbox, which we would say teenage years. Never a bad word on Mr. White's name. Since we was kids up until today. Very stand-up guy, very loyal, very trustworthy. I can say that. One incident in particular, brother had an incident with a guy over East Baltimore on the basketball court. And the guy was taking Mr. White's kindness for weakness. At that time, he was outnumbered. So he came to get a few of his strong brothers that he knew was going to have his back. And we retreated to go back over to East Baltimore, Garden Village to be exact, suburban projects over in East Baltimore. And we were outnumbered, but it was a good 8 to 12 strong behind my brother White, myself included, against a neighborhood of 50 to 60. And stood his ground, handled his business, stated his purpose. He's a man, he don't back down from no one. And we was able to leave there in one piece, thank God. But that was one of only incident involving my brother Daryl White. So and I say that with pleasure, very proud. You know, a lot of our friends are not here today, and I can't say the same for a lot of our friends as being stand up and being a real friend. Daryl White is a real friend.
All right, so I thought it was very important for me to just had to sit down with you all. You guys know the intent behind what I'm doing. And I would be remiss if you guys weren't included in this documentary because you guys mean everything to me. And I thought about a lot. I thought about, just being on the football field and rec. You guys were a part of our experience winning the '89 state championship. Mommy running up and down the field with her gallon with the coins in it and shaking. The excitement and all of that, and just even how football helped to shape our character and things of that nature. Then we had the season where me and my mom had a rough patch. And I used to say stuff like, I want to run away and all of that. And I found myself spending more time with you guys because I didn't want to go home and get that beat. So I just wanted to have some organic conversation about, let's just reflect on that time. And I'm just thankful that, you were a place of refuge for me. Because, sometimes as kids, we needed another outlet. We needed extended family to provide that kind of, what do you want to call it? When mom is pissed off and she's getting ready to be emotional, right? And she needs time to tone it down. Indirectly, this was my second home. So just want to talk, for you to explore with me just that season of life from which you remember.
Well, for me, it's being the mother. I enjoyed all of that. I will say all of them boys come out with families. It is a lot when other people can come into your life and act as family and not be family. Mm-hmm. Because some families can destroy people's children.
Yes, ma'am.
So we got to be very careful of, even now, when we have our children to socialize and say, I want to go there. One thing that my sister Violet knew, that when he came to my house, our house, he was safe. He knew it wasn't a house with everybody jumping there, music going on. And my elevator stopped to his shoulders.
Yeah.
And she knew I was not going to uphold him in the wrong, as if to say, you're wrong, he can come here. It was a safe haven for him, so he can cool down. Because there were moments I'm quite sure Enzo wanted to run away. So the blessing was, I'm glad that I could be a backup to my sister Violet, who I love so dearly. And she felt comfortable. I remember, this is the household we come out of. One day we was there, and Enzo was babysitting. And Devin and Jamar was getting smart with her. And she said, okay, I'm gonna tell Joe when you come in. You suck all that mouth. I love what he said to them. She told me, she said, yeah, Joe, Devin and Jamar was getting smart. He said, you're getting smart with my wife, your mother, get upstairs. They go, Daryl. Yeah, so she said, now you be quiet, Daryl. So we there and they just laughing our humpites off.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you the family they come out of a family that was leaving a legacy for them, which he's doing for each one of you. They used to have a gallery, beautiful art that only framed it. The grandmother was sharp. Her and Joe, when they stepped out, okay? They were like that. But they also knew that they had a family with me. They knew Daryl was safe with me. And that makes a lot because I know Angela was safe with him. So when you have that kind of motherly instinct for other people's children, he's not other people's children, but for other family members, that's amazing. That's amazing. And then to see how he developed into the manhood. So I know how you're gonna be. I know your upbringing. And that same nourishment of spirit is running through him that ran from his mother, his father. They instill into you. Even with mistakes they've done, they've learned from those mistakes that they don't make them with you. My case in point is this: make Dad your best friend. Because the friends you can have outside may tell you what you want to hear, but could destroy you or get your life taken. They have handpicked their friends, which says a lot for them, because they looked out for each other in a positive way, and they could depend on one another. That means a lot. Today we don't have that. So make Dad, your mom, your best friend about anything. Don't be afraid, because they went to the same channels, the same thing. So that's my intake of having him in my life, and he's still there. We still call him. We're gonna tell him we gotta go, and he always listened to me, and we chit chat about certain things. And I give my a point, and sometimes out that box I come because I'm younger than all of them.
That's right.
I bring out some point. He said, "Good point right there." So I'm proud of him.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And it makes my heart smile just to know what we're doing and the season of life that we're in. So Erica has always been my sweet love. And I think about how our lives, even with the guidance that Mommy provided, my mother, Joe, and the coaches, our lives still could have went left, right? So I tend to think back to your relationships back when we were younger and the guys that you were connected to in the streets we looked up to. And when I say we could have went left, because, I think naturally we all are inclined to something negative, right? So when I think about Andre, I think about Daryl, I think about Greg during those seasons of life, Sean, Cole, Chuck, Tony Sands, and the list goes on. We could have been going in that path. So I guess my question to you is, indirectly as a big sister, how would you describe your role in making sure that we stay on the right path, considering the people that we looked up to?
I would say, from my perspective, in life you have to take the good with the bad. You can't get all of one and not the other. It's a checks and balance system, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
With that, you're going to have a little bit of both. You're going to go through a little bit of both. It's impossible not to.
Yeah.
With that, with the support system that you have, and as you start to grow into mature and your mind starts to develop and you start to see things more clearly for yourself, normally that inner guidance will let you know, it might have worked for a season. It ain't going to work this season.
Yeah.
Now, if you choose to keep going that way, the chips going to fall where they may. Now, if you steer clear,
Mm-hmm.
go this way, you're gonna make out better.
Yeah.
Either way, you're gonna have to pay a price. You pay a price to remain the same. You pay a price to change, but you still have to go through the process of making the transition, no matter how difficult, how uneasy, how uncomfortable it may feel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think with that being said, because even with all of them, growing up as teenagers, you got your good and your bad. That goes with everybody. Every hood, every family, every community, whatever you want to call it. But there was still some good that came out of it.
Absolutely.
We're still like family. Some of them were still pretty much good friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like once you learn your lesson and you got the lesson, whatever that lesson is for you at that time in that season, you roll with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no hardships. You can't live in the past. It was what it was. You keep it moving.
Yeah.
And then when you connect with your family, you sit down, you have talks, you learn a lot from each other because you say, oh, I never think about that perspective, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, my perspective wasn't off. I just didn't see your perspective about it. But that makes some good sense.
Yes.
I'm going to add that to what I got. I ain't going to let go of what I know, but I'm going to add that because that expands. That expands my understanding. That expands my wisdom. That expands my knowing. That expands my experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And experience is the one thing can't nobody take, be it good or bad. Some things you need to listen. Some things you got to go through.
Yeah.
And it can't be a one size fit all.
Yeah, and to your point, we saw the consequences
Yeah,
that they suffered, whether it was drug addiction,
right.
whether it was long incarcerations, thinking about Charles.
Yeah,
And we knew that sports was going to be key
Yeah.
for us, just to stay connected.
yes.
Even thinking back to Jack Bush, you know, and you know, I didn't have the opportunity to go to high school at Randallstown. I think if my grandmother didn't pass, she lived in that zone, I probably would have. But just reconnecting, you know, Jack Bush guiding us to Central State. I just knew that we had to continue in sports. And if you continue in sports, then you filter out all the rest of the stuff.
Right.
And at the same time, you keep in mind what the consequences were for those guys. So even though those guys were athletic, Andre, Darryl, all of them were very athletic, me and Angelo didn't want the results that we saw. So I just wanted to share that. Anybody else got anything that come to mind they want to share before we close out?
It is a blessing that I'm alive to see my grandchildren still in my life. I had my granddaughter, Michaela, tell me she wanted me there to celebrate her 16th birthday. It meant the world to me. And then she said, oh, but it's too far. You probably can't make it. I said, what's the address?
That's right.
What's the address? I'll do the park.
Yes.
So my son, Daryl, said he's going. This is how the family, we all connect. She didn't have to ask me or tell me, but she wanted me there, and I'm honored. I'm honored here to be a part to see 50. All of y'all that make it to 50.
That's right.
That's a blessing in itself. We don't know how we're going to be at whatever age we go into. I'm in my 70s. I thought I was still wearing my high heels. 70 told me, simmer down.
Good.
You're on a whole different road now.
Yeah.
So with that saying, he's at the top of the hill. Next year, he's going to tilt it. And he can look back and say, I didn't do too bad. Like that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate you, Mom. I love y'all.
So I just want to say, it has been an honor, and it is an honor for us to be family, for my handsome nephews, even in the absence of the one that's not here, my beautiful niece, and for the relationship that you and I have as brother and sister. Though it all started and stemmed from Angela. Angela was the gateway girl.
Yeah.
He was the one that was the connector for all of us to have our own relationships. And so what I mean by that, within family, it's never a one size fit all. And that means we all don't have the same temperament. We all don't have the same amount of patience. We're not all tasked to carry the same amount of weight. And if we are, we don't carry the same amount of weight the same kind of way.
Yeah.
When my cup is full and I can say, look, D, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, but I had enough.
Yeah.
You might can go another whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I didn't do my part. I did up to the capacity which I could maintain.
That's right. That's right.
If you can go further, great.
Yeah.
But we still, excuse me, we still interconnect,
Yeah.
and we still hold each other up and say, I got you.
That's right.
No funeral.
No funerals.
We ain't having no more funerals.
We ain't doing no funerals. That's a wrap. We ain't gonna run it back. That's cat.